Hello and welcome everybody to this week's episode of SOS. Sorry about last week. I had some technical issues and could not actually record the videos last week. I do have an audio stream of me and our guest commentator last week who is joining us again this week, and that's Grant, also known as Parasite from International Armada. How are you, Grant?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to watching the SOS tournament again. Like I said last week in my intro, I've played this tournament 7 straight months. This is a whole new way of seeing it, and I had a lot of fun last week. Hopefully, we'll see the princess in action.
Oh, yeah. So, just for everybody who isn't aware, we have now decided to call Stormbird of UKRF as Princess.
Yeah,
And
because he's on the Mario Bros team.
why we call him Princess? Grant,
Yeah.
you telling us why we call him Princess?
Why do we call him Princess? Well,
Yes,
he
sir.
was wearing the Italian girl avatar, and I, for some reason, thought that the Mario Brothers are Italians, so being the only Italian girl in the room, I figured, I guess, Stormbird's the princess. He was also a misfit, so that made him different than the Mario Bros.
Right. So we are just standing by for an invite from the teams who we will be covering. Actually, we've figured out a way to cover almost every team, at least a couple of patches from every team, just so we get to see everyone in action, and get to see
Nobody's left behind.
um, nobody left behind. Yes, but we get to see every different team trying their best to, since this is a league style format instead of our regular round robin things, every match counts.
Yes, which is a really different perspective than every other month that the SOS has had, because your
Mhm.
seed was determined on the kind of things that will determine if you win or not this time. So maybe some of the other teams will play differently now that they think, okay, how many ships do we sink? Because there's teams
Yeah.
where, in a hard match, like, okay, let's sink one ship, let's hold the caps, let's win. These teams might be saying, let's sink all four, let's get them, knock them down. With
Hey,
with a
man.
different play style attitude leads to different tactics, I would say.
Yeah. So this is going to be interesting. Our first match is a derby game. Actually, it's Wind of Change versus Technolust. Two
Same
Russian
fleet.
teams facing off. Yep, same fleet. So this is going to be interesting. Last time, um, poor Technolux suffered a little bit because they actually forgot about the unique nations rule, and they chose two British ships. That is why they had to forfeit 5 wins.
Yeah,
They would have
because
been in a
they
way
technically
better
weren't.
place, but for that fact.
Yeah, they were
Okay,
technically not
so I
following
just
ship
got an
rules.
invite from Distortion. Uh, and let me just invite you in.
Sure. Yeah, it was unfortunate for that team because they did well and they had to forfeit a bunch of wins. And they played very well in the matches we saw them. So
Yeah.
I'm sure it won't shake them at all. They're a good team. They're clever. Any windy team is clever.
All right. Grant, talk us through this lineup.
All right. So we're on deadlock. So now, last week we had Epicenter, which was a bunch of caps close together. We're on a domination map with 3 caps that are farther away in comparison. I remember the very first week that this map was played. It was actually a lot of fun, even if all the fights happened in B. So for Team A, Wind of Change, we have Flandre, Mines, Belfast 43, and a returning choice from last week, the Orkin. For Technolust, we have Roma, Mines, Belfast, and an Orkin. You can kind of tell they're from the same fleet. They've got the same kind of setup, except they're thinking a Flandre versus a Roma. The Flandre has more speed and also has precise aim, while the Roma is slower but carries precise aim and rapid reload. So you can
What I want to
see,
see is these two Orcans getting into a slap fight in the middle of B cap. That'll be interesting to watch.
yes, this is going to be
And the
so
Mines is going to face off against a Belfast 43.
indeed.
I'd give that straight fight to the Mines,
And you can see
honestly.
the mines. You can see Fan has actually went much shorter on his route into the cap, so he will beat Cospax to the cap by a pretty lengthy margin. But then again, Cospax has smoke and he doesn't.
Yeah.
So
We see the
interesting
other
thing.
side, the other flank on the on A cap, the Belfast is opening up on Corbin Dallas in his minds, and this is a tough fight as well.
Yes, you can see it's like a choreograph. There are two cruisers on each side of each team are going against each other. At sea, Fan launches torpedoes on Cospax. You can see Gleb takes a hit from the Flandre from across B. And Corbin has pressed Blase out of A, and now he's going to take the cap. And Blase, oh, look at that hit from the Roma. Blase now in a lot of trouble here. And here's the worst part.
Oof.
He has no smoke right now. He used his smoke to put an offensive on Corbin. This is not a good situation for the Wind of Change Belfast. He's
Yeah.
low. I
I'm
don't think
guessing
there's a
Blase
way out
goes
of that.
down. Yes, he
Yep.
does.
And
Now, Gleb
worse
in
than
his
that,
Roma is going to dominate and just sit in this cap. He can go up against Yuki, no problem. The Flandre isn't famous for its ability to tank big shots.
now you can see at sea, we have a similar situation from Technolust. Their Belfast has also made a mistake. Cospax now also has no smoke, and he's running from mines at mid range. He's growing the range, but at that range, mines is not fun to deal with. And
Yeah,
he's
the
also
mines
on
will
Roma.
easily hunt him down and take him out. Caspax should stop firing and try to go in concealment. He should have done that three salvos ago. Too little,
He's
too late from him
healing.
now.
Yeah, he's healing, but he's going to be at an HP advantage. I'm sorry, disadvantage.
That's just poor play from Big G. He's I know exactly what he's trying to do, but I don't think he can pull that off against a player as good as Fan.
And now look, he's using his smoke. And look, he's camped out in that smoke, and Fan knows exactly where he is.
Fan knows exactly where he is, and Fan has access to sonar. He will hunt down Caspax.
Now,
Nothing much
looking,
Caspax can do.
no, it's just a bad place to be. Now at B, you can see Gleb has taken a lot of shots. He's now under half health. Distortion snuck a few torpedoes in there. I think he landed one. But now Distortion is running away from 6-0 in his Orkan. Fan takes out the Belfast for Technolust.
As expected. Now, what will be interesting to see is whether Fan makes a move and goes all the way behind the Roma to hunt.
I feel like he's going to. Well, it depends. If he's feeling aggressive, with especially with Gleb moving, I think Fan will turn in and go for
There
those
you go.
inner islands and start lighting
Shots
them up.
coming into the Roma from three different sides. The Flandre is hitting him with all he can. The Orkan trying to start another flood, possibly
Those
misses
torpedoes.
with those torpedoes, but they're more in the water
Gleb takes
soon.
another big hit. You see, the Roma and the Orkan are pushing together, and Fan's trying to catch up back here. Now,
Distortion
Gleb,
is being clever here. He's not focusing down the Roma. He's instead hunting down the enemy Orkan, which poses a bigger threat to him.
yep, and look at Distortion's positioning. He's got his front guns ahead, aiming at Corbin Dallas takes out Yuki. Oh, that's a flood on Distortion, but Distortion will take out 6-0. So right now,
Yeah,
it's
well, this
Corbin
is
Dallas
close.
in Mines alone against an Orkin and another Mines. And
And yeah,
this
Corbin
is
has the chance to make himself a hero. He takes down one. Let's see if he can peel out the other one as well.
now it's not easy, I can tell you.
This is a straight up slugging match, and Corbin has the disadvantage when it comes to HP. So he's looking to
However,
disengage.
these are good torpedoes. Fan, look at the way Fan's turning. Fan can only move
Fan has
backwards.
to, yeah, Fan has to turn back and disengage pretty much. Maybe that gives him a slight disadvantage. Can Corbin use that loss of momentum for Fan to peel off completely? I don't think he can. Fan will
He's
hunt him out.
he's given a very valiant effort though, but his HP,
Yeah.
it was a
Brilliant
very
effort.
hard HP disadvantage to come from.
Mhm. And in a minds versus minds match, this is what it comes down to. Whoever has slightly more HP will win. It's just a matter of time now. Ooh, that was a close salvo, but Corbin I think, has disengaged successfully. Um,
He's not firing either, so he's off detection for Fan at the moment. So even though they will take a close loss, Technolos will keep 1 point against their enemy, Wind of Change. And that was a really clever
it
played
was
match.
beautifully
This
done.
came down to their mind,
Beautifully done.
and they
I
got to
love
defeat
this one.
MVP.
No, Corbin's
Oh,
team won it. They won on points. They kept control of two caps and they won on points. Very well done, Corbin. Mhm. So, what do we have next up? Grant, still with us?
what's that? Yeah, I'm here.
Now we have fails versus sales.
Sales versus fails. This was a matchup that everyone's like, where is this one? Where is this matchup? Everybody wants to see this matchup. But somebody I won't name that's also in this chat with me did not make this one in the schedule. So he did not make
Who
that
could
mistake.
that be?
I don't know. Please sync 6. I don't know. Now for fails, they're running. Oh, well, would you look at that? Last week, they brought in Payback, friend of mine. And this week, they bring
Mhm.
in another friend of mine, Old Hellhound, Vito4711. Also with my buddy Sajin, both from IA. Great guys. Stanny, great
Yeah.
guy. And Mex is a great guy, known for his charging potential. And for sales,
Yeah,
will
and
we see another?
Stanny is in his usual Russian cruiser. I don't think he has anything else to play.
He's a good
I've never
Russian
seen him play
player.
anything else
And
except for Russian
there's
cruisers.
Big Dave. Can't
There's
have
Big
a
Dave.
team a funny team without him. And for
Absolutely.
so Fails is going for a setup for more of a defensive setup with a Richelieu, which Richelieu will sit
Mhm.
likely nose on at max range taking.
Notice the absence of BBs in both teams.
That will make it a little slower to get to the caps and probably more cruiser
Mhm.
fights. So for Fails, they're running a Richelieu, DZP, Chappie, and Mind. Good cruiser combination, and very similar sort of look for Sales. They're running a Belfast 43, a Mines, and a Cleveland.
Honestly, I would have wanted, something a little faster. Maybe a Charles Martel would do really well here to run the flanks, or possibly even the Amalfi or the Black Amalfi. Those are
Amalfi would
fast
be
ships.
Amalfi would be great for a match with a destroyer in it, especially if it's at the same cap.
See, it's not just about destroyers. The Amalfi can engage and disengage at will. It has good speed. It can chase down other cruisers, and it can disengage with utilizing superior speed. That's why I would have picked uh, possibly the Black Amalfi with its radar and with its sonar and rapid reload.
Okay, so the positions are starting to move, and I can tell that Fails is going for a heavy lineup at sea, which, looking at Sails only has one ship at sea, that being the Mines. Similar in position. Actually, it looks like he's taking a similar course to the one that Kosbaks did last game.
So we see planes going out from Sayashin. He's spotting the three ships that are splitting between A and B.
That was a
And
conversation that was had last week as well about the DZP airstrike spotting.
yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that bad a bug anymore. It's a feature, not a bug for me.
Now look at Sajid. He's up here at A. He launched his airstrike, but now look, he's peeling back straight down. So he's giving the cap
Yeah,
to Sails at the moment, which is a good choice for
of
keeping his
course,
ship together.
his life is more important than a cat.
Indeed. Though he
And
is
what he
starting to
wants to
take
do
shots.
is he wants to target Big Dave, set a couple of fires,
And he sets a fire right there.
mhm, and start one more and just disengage. Everybody will keep hitting Dave. I'd like to see the mines, mechs, switch to HE and maybe like start another fire.
You can see Stanny is having a slug out with his mines, but Brada is having the better luck at the moment. Brada just broke a turret on Stanny's ship. Sajin really wide out there. He's starting to turn back. Vito is taking a position that isn't unusual for a Richelieu, right next to an island and straight ahead. That said, the mine's doing a similar sort of thing. I'm not sure about that. Perhaps he could be using his range, but right now I don't think he can easily shoot at anything from where he's positioned.
The thing is that he's caught in a bad position. If he tries to make a break for it, they will slam him. So he can't really, move forward, and he doesn't want to move back and lose any opportunity to punish Blevin.
That's a true point, but as well, Big Dave had to back up in addition under pressure. So he had a better shot than normal with Big Dave peeled back. And now look at Vito pushing right into B with his Richelieu. And he's looking for a
Yeah.
shot
If
on
he's not
Blur.
careful, he might take a couple of torpedoes. He's
Oh,
taking
that's a lot of
heavy
punishment.
punishment,
Oh, those
and
torps are
and
going right
you
into
know
him.
it
Oh,
was
that's not good.
fruitless because
That's a flood.
it served no purpose at all. He's lost 70-80% of his HP
And no
for
kit.
a move that didn't really gain him anything.
You can see the airstrikes. They're definitely focusing on Big Dave. They're probably trying to
Hmm.
take him out to try to keep Vito alive. But on one hand, he's probably got cruiser crossfire at this spot.
Yeah, I mean, he's being crossfired by Prada. It's,
And Big Dave
yes,
will take
down
him
goes
out.
Vito.
Now, Big Dave's in a lot of trouble as well.
I think Dave has enough tactical gameplay to survive this. I mean, there's no cruiser that can take him out in two salvos, and he can always disengage.
He can, but that airstrike could be. Okay, so there's no fire lit by that. If a fire had been lit, this could have been worse. But still, look at this. He's still on low health.
Yeah. And look
And
at
he will
that.
not make it out.
Mines. Oh, interesting.
Now, Stanny is in a long range slug out with this mines, which is not a bad idea for a Chappie, as Chappie is good at long range, but he's been at an HP disadvantage since the beginning of this matchup.
He's at a massive HP disadvantage.
And now he's
I'd love
taking.
to see Brother charging into him and, perhaps sacrificing. Ooh, we
Match
just
the stage
saw
and
another
great
ship go
crossfire
down.
on Blur End. And now Louis sitting here in the middle of A. What really is there for him to do? He's defending this cap, but he's got two cruisers turning left right towards him. Now,
I'm pretty
Cleveland's a
sure
great
he can.
PM machine, so he will probably take out this Mines.
Possibly, but at what cost? Look at those torpedoes.
He's starting to move, but I don't think he's going to dodge all of them. Yep, he takes one. That airstrike goes just past him.
He will. He should be able to hunt down Max.
Now look at Barada here. Barada is just now going offensive, but Stanley's going behind this island. I'm not sure if he can see him now.
He can't. It's up to Stanley to, make a choice here.
Look at these torpedoes by Max. He's forcing Louis to
Oh,
turn.
beautiful, beautiful.
Look at those torps. Airstrike. Look at that damage. Out he goes.
Louis goes down, and I think Fails have beaten Sails in this one.
Just like last week. They call themselves fails, but not much failing going on here. And this was a
Excellent
great match
gameplay.
this was a great match for Stanley. Stanley played the rabbit over here for the whole match against Brada. And
And he's still managing to cling on and survive against superior, gunnery. The Chappie is a delicate ship.
It
It's a
is, but
bully when nobody's fighting it. But
now Brada will take out
okay,
Stanley here. But the thing is, Fails have 2 caps, and he's only got a 2-point lead with 30 seconds left. But here's the thing,
if
he
he
might
takes
be able
down
to detect
Max,
Max.
see, if he takes down Max,
The Mex is healing and turning away.
mm-hmm.
You'll probably
Smart
see maybe
gameplay
an
from
airstrike.
Max.
He will not be able to take out Mex at this rate now.
Yeah, not in the next 10 seconds.
No.
Max has disengaged completely, and he's safe. We can give this one to Fails, who've done wonderfully well. Good gameplay from them.
This one was won by their cruisers. Their battleship
Pretty much yes.
was in a very bad situation, the Richelieu.
Yeah, that battleship maneuver I'm not a big fan of. I understand what Vito was trying to do, but the timing was just off. Didn't work out.
But I will say, when he did go out, his 2 cruisers rushed ahead, and they took advantage of what they saw in that cap masterfully.
Yeah, that is true.
They did great crossfire on Blur End, and Louis, even though Louis did very well up at A, by the time they caught up to him, there wasn't much left he could do. But he
Okay,
almost
so
got
next
that.
up we have LGR versus Fails.
So we're going to see fails again against ELGR, which last week you saw they had an interesting ship choice in the Borodino. And they also had some great gameplay.
Yeah. And ELGR are a thoroughly professional team.
Yeah.
They know exactly what to do and how to do it. We may not always agree with their choice of ships, but those guys have a game plan and they stick to it.
Man, I agree with their ship choice, but they'll say, watch us make it work.
Mm-hmm.
They have an ability to feel out their opponent and make clever maneuvers that take out ships. And that's one thing I've noticed playing against them in Ruler of the Waves or Skirmish or even SOS. All right, so they indeed are going with an interesting setup. Look at the Cherbourg.
All right, a bow tanking ship in a 3-cap match is a good choice, especially against a team that does not favor cruisers and does not have any recognized. Does not favor DBs. Does not have any DBs in its lineup. So the Cherbourg makes absolute sense. I don't know if Nick will pick it or if he's just trying to pull a fast one on us, but Cherbourg is always going to be an interesting choice.
Admir 13, he had the mines last week. We're seeing Mr. Cakes instead of Makis and he's taking a Borodino now. just like Makas did last week. There's Max saying that he coded some shelves away. That's a joke I tell him because he's a programmer. He will outcode his opponents, is what I say whenever he plays well. So we have LGR with, and he's going for a Congress, very similar to what Yuki did last week.
Yeah.
The
Again,
Congress,
that's a ship I do not agree with.
but Congress does have quite a large hit point pool, and the way Wind of Change was playing it last week, it was like they were playing it in conjunction with a battleship, like it was a second battleship because of its HP.
Okay. So here we go.
Yeah, and like I said last week, look at Nick versus Cakes. Those ships are about the same size. And Congress is a big ship. So Fails is going for a reverse of what they did last game. So Stanny's going up to Cap A alone. Saiyajin, just like last game at A, he's going down there. He's going to launch his airstrike. There it goes. He's going to spot. And he's going to hightail it out of there. But with a Borodino on the cap and with how sharp ELGR's guns are, he might get hit at least once. You can see
ELGR doing the skirmish move of abandoning A cap. I don't know if that's such a smart move. Because if you look at Stanny, you do not want him behind you, and having to turn your guns towards him means that you're ignoring the other three ships in front. So this is the ideal situation for a Shapayev when it can get in behind enemy lines.
Indeed it is. And look, Danny probably isn't exactly sighted. They don't know exactly where he is. They just know he's capped A. You can see this Belfast 43, and maybe the Congress will follow him. He'll have the broadside of that Congress with long-range shells. He could be a real pain for Nick right now. I can see some damage starting to come in on Admir, who was also the guy taking damage first last week. I think that's part of their strategy. He's backing right up behind the island. Borodino taking a position with the front emphasized. That's also something they did last week. Vito is going for another.
Borodino has pretty much the same gunnery layout as Richelieu, right? So he just needs to clear his front legs. That's all he needs to do. Hide the rest of the ship behind.
Look at Stanny. Stanny's taking a position with his front guns ahead. He already lit a fire on Termitus. He's looking for a fire on Nick. And you can see...
Look at the Borodino.
Yeah.
He's taking punishment. Stanny has lit him up once and is going for him again, hell for leather. Now, if those plane strikes work out, this Borodino might be in severe trouble.
Yeah, and even without a
Lucky
fire.
for him, it doesn't. He can escape now.
Yeah, but at what cost?
Meanwhile,
is also
take a look at the points down here. That's what we've been ignoring for now. LGR have a stranglehold on two caps, and they're not going to let B cap slip anyway, and they're going to make a fight out of C cap as well. The problem is that this is where Vito likes his gameplay. This is when he comes into his own, when he's pushing into caps and pushing out enemy cruisers. They can actually punish this mines, take him out, and take the cap to boot.
Yeah, I don't think...
Let's take a look at Stanny. Stanny, at half health, or...
He's baiting the Congress.
25% health, is playing an amazing game. He's beating the Congress, as you said, and he is... essentially, like he's taken.
Let's see.
Yeah, but the Congress.
Ooh, look at that hit on the board.
I think Stanny goes down. Oof. survives by a whisper, shouldn't be firing his guns anymore.
Vito's turning, and unlike last game, he's going to dodge those torpedoes instead of taking them. The Borodino is going to go down. Even though he made a good maneuver to turn away and try to run, they caught him with crossfire. He's healing, but I don't know if he'll make it. Now, Stanny,
I don't know if he...
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, see, Termitus doing the right thing, taking down Mets, and the Congress takes down the Shafayev. Now it's Cakes will be able to disengage at this point, and or possibly not, because Saijin is using his engine booster. He will go chase down the Borodino, hunt him out, while Vito makes a desperate push.
And he got Cakes
For the Belfast.
Now, here's the thing. If there's a battleship player you don't want chasing you, it's Vito. Vito is not somebody you want chasing you. And Termitus has him chasing him. And his torpedoes will not land again. Now, the only worry I think for Saijin right now is the Congress coming down from A. And you saw his big gun hits on Stanny. That was a lot of damage quick. And he's using
That's
them on
another
Vito.
chunk of damage that he's taken out of Vito.
That's a good airstrike by Saijin.
Mm-hmm.
But Termitus is healing. Oh, but look at that. Great shot by Vito. The Hellhound takes him out.
All right. Now let's see if Vito can pull a rabbit out of his hat and punish this Congress. Otherwise, Saijin goes down.
Saijin's doing the right thing, though. He's pushing the Congress, being aggressive to try to protect his low HP.
No, he's not. He has to disengage, and he is disengaging.
Look at that hit.
But, yeah, they've essentially made this into a crossfire situation where Nick has to chase the DZP. He has no choice. And the Rishinu can punish his broadside with no fear.
Yeah, and Saijin did a great move.
Two-man mines. He doesn't know which way to turn, and he's going to pay for it with his life.
Yeah, and there's no way for him out of that. That was a beautiful play by Vito. Perfect play he did there. That turn to hit the Congress, that was perfectly timed. And Saijin, you saw him, he turned and got the Congress's attention and then hightailed backwards and made him follow him. That was another great move.
Mm-hmm.
And even though Stanny took a lot of damage from the Congress when he did catch up to him making the Congress come up to A after him was also a good move. That was a really well-played match by Fails.
Liking their gameplay more and more.
Now, ELGR played well that game too, but they just got pushed over a little too much. They had just a little bit more than they could take. Like the Borodino, even though he was in a lot of trouble, he made a good attempt to get out of there. And he did work on mechs with Termitus. They made a great crossfire at B, and the Congress lost too much time and then got led into a situation that he really had no way out of. He could have easily taken one or the other out, but not when they're both shooting.
Okay, so who do we have next? We're looking to the match schedule. It's Bananas versus
LGR.
B.
So we're going to see UKRF versus ELGR. And that's two interesting teams as well. UKRF, they make really clever plays too. So does ELGR. That's two teams that, whenever I go up against these two teams, I get a bit dicey. I never know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, but you get nervous against 38% win rate players as well. So that's not saying much.
38% win rate player that makes a really good hit can be a pain to anybody. You know what they say about being in the right place at the right time? Even a bad player that makes a great hit in a great position can take out anyone in this game, and that's part of it.
Very true. Okay, Grant, do me a favor. Hop into SGR or UKRF Voice and ask them to, invite me or you into their match. We are waiting for that.
I'll just send a message. I'll just send a like a PM to one of them. I have Nick. I'll tell him to invite. And I don't know if El Kaboom is online, but he was in the Bananas team last week. I'm not sure if he's going to be there again.
They don't have any of those players today. They have their usual Bananas team rather than the circus members.
Yeah, because last week they went for like a ruler of the waves sort of setup. They had Kaboom, Leb, they had WG, I believe, in a... I can't remember exactly, but I know that I remember last week Leb and Kaboom played really well together. Leb was taking a lot of fire and Kaboom was putting good finishing shots into people with his Roma. Yeah, but that is a classic Bananas team. Chrissy, Grosser, Nubian, and instead of Storm, they have Communism. But here's the thing. Mario Bros does not have Stormbird this week, so unfortunately we will not be able to make fun of him for 7 minutes like last week. So I guess we're going to have to identify a new... Let's make Don't Sink the Princess. Since he wants to talk about princesses so much, maybe he'll be a good one.
I'm beautiful, elegant, and yes, I am a princess. Do you want pictures of me in a tutu?
Nope. I will put holy water in my eyes if I have to see that.
You don't know, man. Maybe I'm Margot Robbie in disguise.
I don't care if that's true or not. I don't want to see it. Because I can imagine seeing that with that voice.
What do you know? Maybe I'm using a voice changer.
Using a voice changer? Why don't you use something that's actually nice sounding?
Grant,
use your pretty girl voice.
I say this with all my heart. Fuck you.
Thank you for the kind words, sir. Or is it ma'am?
Oh, whatever makes you comfortable.
I'm never comfortable with you.
Alright, I just got an invite. Let me... invite you as well.
Or don't invite me. You're so boring, I probably know exactly what's going on in that game from what you're saying. Alrighty, so we have Bananas versus ELGR, and ELGR looks to be using what they started with a Roma instead of a Borodino, and Bananas taking a Roma, Cleveland, Kipper, and Belfast 43. Kipper, interesting choice instead of a Mines.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Maybe they want the bigger hit of Hipper's guns. Mines has smaller guns than Hipper, though more of them in a rapid reload.
And with the Mines, you can put in like an APCS class commander, maxed out one.
Same for Hipper.
No, the Hipper isn't a premium ship, so you really want to sacrifice all those commander points.
Some gold can make you do anything. So ELGR is going strong on A. And you can see Bananas, they're not putting anything towards A. They're going all towards C and B. And you can see Termitus will probably send out his airstrike soon, and he's going to know what's going on here. Now look at the way he's positioning here. He's positioned himself to where he's already partially in the way to turn and run. So he's going to quickly make that switch His airstrike's off, and I don't think they'll find him very quick. You can see some crossfire on Chrissy starting from A cap. They're making a good move, just putting the mines in A, knowing there's one ship there, and knowing there's more at B. So they're sending the Congress, and I believe the Congress is going to do the same thing he did last match. He's going to try to smash up this Cleveland. But the Cleveland also making a good move. He's going behind that island, so he's not as easy to hit. But on that segue, he does have a mines on his other side. And they're definitely focusing on him. Nubian is popping his smoke, and he's making an aggressive move now. He pushed up to try to get some shots on the Congress, but he's going to have to watch that DZP off his nose. And the DZP is going for Nubian with his airstrike.
That's fine. Nubian's a big boy. He can take that punishment. But can Nick take that punishment? That is the question.
Yeah. Nick's in a very troublesome spot now. He just took a hit from the Roma. But Grosser Bruder and Communism have also taken a bit of damage together, and Grosser Bruder appears to be taking more than he would like right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you can do with the German cruiser. You can take a punch or two and get away with it.
Yep, and a good move by Communism to pull up and cover his teammate. And he's probably going to start engaging. Yep, he's starting to engage that mines who's pushing to try to take out his...
The Congress is about to go down, I think. There he goes.
Yep. Chrissy and Nubian took him out.
And look at Nubian's HP. I have a lot of admiration for this guy. Even though I call him Dauntless in disguise. Just as a joke, but I love this guy's cruiser. Very
Communism is taking a lot of punishment from that mines. He went toe-to-toe with them.
The mines will take them out.
Yeah. In a cruiser-to-cruiser fight, mines is going to try to step on your toe.
If the mines is smart about it, he will take down Communism and then go after the Hipper and possibly finish him off as well.
Yes, but this is a situation where the Hipper may be a very good choice. He's got a bigger punch than that mines per salvo. And he was probably just using his rapid reload. Yep, look at that hit on that mines. And that Hipper, he takes a shot from the mines, but his next salvo, if he aims it right, he's just making it by a little bit. Chrissy Boy up top, pushes and takes out the DZP. And Grosser will probably turn his back guns toward the mines, and he takes him out. You were saying, where was a Hipper useful? In that spot, the Hipper was a good choice.
Yeah, that was, I think, the perfect scenario where you would have a Hipper over a mines. In any other situation, a mines is more preferable.
But remember what I said about each of these teams being very clever. They can make any situation they'd like happen sometimes.
I think LGR panicked a little bit and played into the hands of UKRF, who had set up like a circular, like a half circle, and waited patiently for their moment to happen. Good patient play, and I think credit must go to Nubian here because he's the guy who's orchestrated the attack.
Yeah, he did really good work screening Chrissy in front. Yeah, the Congress for ELGR took a lot of pressure early, and there was really no way to cover him. Admir on the A side did a good job, but unfortunately he didn't have enough HP left to finish that Hipper. And even if he did, UKRF had the cap advantage. You saw Cakes and the Roma and the DZP up high, not close to any caps. This was a good play by the Bananas. Another example of why they're a successful tactical team.
Oh, so this was, I believe, match 4 or match 5? This was match 4, so we have 5 more matches to go. And next up, we have Technolust versus the Bananas.
Yeah, and I got it a bit mixed up earlier. Technolust, they pulled out that really close win against Wind of Change with Caps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I had the colors reversed, man. I don't know. Every time my first match, I do something shaky every time. Hopefully, I can knock that out of my big head. You got a big head too. I'm sure you.
Pretty much like you in skirmish. You always screw up in the first few matches.
And my mistakes in skirmish on your team are mostly because of your mistakes.
I don't make mistakes. I'm perfect.
That's what's wrong with you. Oh, you make mistakes, all right. They're funny, though, when they do happen half the time. So at least you have that going for you. Your mistakes are hilarious, so they're fun to watch.
So, next week, I think I will be in Austin. So, for this entire month, actually for the next 2 months as well, I will be doing commentary for this tournament from a different city each week.
Yeah, he's traveling the world. He's in
Not the world,
travel.
just your stupid country. But
yeah,
it's fun though. Last week I was doing it from New York. This time I'm in New Orleans. Next week I'm in San Antonio, and the week after that I'm in Austin.
Don't mess with Texas, man. Remember, it's something you got to remember. Don't mess with Texas.
I grew up in Texas.
Come get you. Yeah, and in New York, you also made a surprise appearance to close out the skirmish week on an NA server. You ran out of line, but you were still great. Running a ship that I thought you despised the whole time, the Massachusetts.
I do despise it, but I spent $5 buying that ship. I'm going to play the hell out of it.
Hey, for a $5 hauler, that ship's definitely worth it. I've seen a beginner ship bundle for a $5 Florida. So that's why there's so many noobs at tier 7. And randoms like the Ashitaka from the that one event. From
the rental thing?
Yeah. Yashitaka, and they're selling Florida instead of beginner players. Florida's a great ship, but it's not exactly beginner friendly.
Absolutely. That is not a beginner ship at all.
No.
It requires technical proficiency. I mean, that is why you suck at it. But
I've never even played Florida. Why are you judging me on something I haven't even played? I mean, I know I'm bad, but man, at least let me prove it to you first. So teams are lining up. Teams are filing in, and Don't Sink is, well, pushing on me again. This is what he usually does. I still love him.
Is it because I told you I'm Margot Robbie?
So we see Technolust.
Okay. Do we see any changes from Technolust?
It looks like it. Oh, no. Well, the Cheshire instead of the Belfast 43. That might be a change. Which the Cheshire has really good HE. And good long-range HE at that. But the thing is, he's not running that either. Okay, so he's going with the Belfast 43. So no changes from Technolust. And same ship lineup for Bananas. So I'd say Cheshire would be a great choice for long-range HE spamming, which Cospax was the lone ship at his cap, which would have been a good spot for Cheshire that one match. Though it's funny that Atlantico has 8 of Cheshire's caliber guns on each side that fire every 3 seconds. Just poor gaming making things up, am I right? Meanwhile, Cheshire, you gotta wait 9-10 seconds. Man, it's out of style.
I think it has a 12-second lead.
I do have a Cheshire that I've played, but it's been a while. I don't remember much sometimes. So UKRF is ignoring CCAP, and they've got a cruiser just like before going to each cap wide. You got Cospax at A and Corbin at C. See, look at UKRF. They're putting both their cruisers at B cap. And I'll tell you what they're looking to do. They want to get a hit on 6-0 in that Orkin if they can find it. Now look at this crossfire already beginning on communism. Takes a shot from Gleb, probably a shot from the mines, maybe something from the Orkin. And he's going to have to avoid those shots and turn up. And look, right on time, just like last game. Here comes Nubian with a push. Now I know exactly what he wants to do. He wants to find that Orkin.
All the while, Cashfax is quietly biding his time. He's waiting for the ship to vacate A cap, and now he'll sneak in and take that cap. Plant a seed of doubt into UKRF mines. Ooh, those torps look interesting. Those torps look really interesting.
Those torps are pressure torps, is what those are. It shakes everybody up a little bit. You see,
takes one.
And Nubian,
living
look at Corbin. Corbin coming out of C. He read that situation. Here he comes. His DPM is going at it. And Nubian is in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, he's trapped. And is he like, moving, no. Did his game crash or what? He's not moving. And now communism taking punishment as well.
They're going to, I think they're going to try to finish communism. There's a flood on that Roma from those torps that's very good, potentially for the mines here. He could use AP and brake modules. He could use HE and light fires, communism on low health, some crossfire maybe from Cospax, but definitely shots from the Roma. And really nowhere for communism to go.
Meanwhile, Cospax is now busy engaging the Admiral Hipper and, distracting him.
Look at Corbin Dallas. He's charging in.
He wants that
going into it. Torps off, and that's gonna hurt. He doesn't get a flood, but he is in bad shape. Look at that shot from the Roma. All he needs is one more tap. There he goes.
Nicely done. Very, very nicely done. But so Techno lost, making amends for last week,
and they still got it. Of course, they are a great team. And now Grosser Bruder is in a shots from 3 directions, potentially, including the Roma. He's trying to use his big alpha strike on the mines, but unfortunately there's just every shot's flying at him. He wasn't going to survive with that much HP. Beautiful job again by Technolust. Yeah, Corbin gave him the business. I mean, I think Nubian was not intending to do that. I think that was some unfortunate accident that happened there. But even if he started to back up, he was taking shots from that mine.
Nubian just, sorry, I lost connection.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him.
That's a pity.
Well, when he has a connection, you know he can come up with good ideas. That last game, he did a great job.
Nubian can.
So now, we're going to see Technolust once again. We're going to see another team. We're going to see JW44 Wolf, the Wolves Rule Armada. Now, last week I got bamboozled seeing Mex. Mex was their team leader for a few months, and now he's with Fails, where he's not failing. I'm sure he picked that name and probably joking around wants to lose, but no losing going on for fails every time we've seen them so far. And everybody got the meme set up of sales versus fails that they were looking for. Don't Sink is catering to the demand.
I mean, last week, I think when we had sales versus fails, I wanted to put them on the schedule, but we had another game, so it just didn't fit the schedule too well. This time I screwed around with the schedule and made sure we had a sales versus fails match.
You screw around with every schedule. Come on.
Yeah. The only reason I'm doing this commentary thing today is because I went bull riding yesterday and I am injured. Every body part hurts. So
you're just too old, man.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Every guy at any age always thinks he's 20 push-ups away from peak physical condition, right?
Yeah.
And clearly I'm not.
No.
So, yesterday, on top of a bull, I actually found out how badly, out of condition I am.
Well, dude, all your screeching and skirmish and thumb pressing on the screen with blitz, it doesn't pay the bills with your exercise. I'm sorry to tell you. I know you're coming up with I know you're trying to develop some miracle diet, but you're gonna have to add something else in there, man.
Yeah, see, my miracle diet consists of eating and drinking whatever you want, however much you want.
Then get on BC and yelling.
No exercise, right? So you don't lose any weight, but it's a lot of fun.
Hey, we're all down to have fun, I think. Weight loss isn't always fun. It's part of why people, give up on it the first few weeks, because it's a slow process. The weight just doesn't disappear. It has to work itself out. They say about breaking a habit with, when your body's got its metabolism and it's been adapting to how much you've been eating, it has to undo that too. So that takes time on top of toning everything back up again. Yeah, Don't Sink's miracle diet. He's gonna have to make he should make an April Fool's joke of the Blitz diet and put it on his YouTube channel for April Fool's Day. I bet you all of us will buy it and support. I know Big Dave will be your #1 customer.
Okay, so we have Wolf versus Technoist. Now, I'm standing by for an invite. Let's see when that happens.
So, I guess maybe talk about what version of the Jeopardy theme song you like most. I like the version from the 80s rendition of the show when Trebek started, right in the very beginning.
Right. You weren't even born. You weren't even a glint in your daddy's eye back then.
So what? I can't learn about it?
Yeah, no.
What? Do I just do everything you want me to do? You're not even my fleet commander.
Pretty much.
No, I'm not listening.
As I'm not the fleet commander for, any of the skirmish teams that I play in, but I make sure everybody does exactly what I want.
That said, as a caller, you're pretty good. And even when it doesn't work, you're entertaining. Like when you came in that one night for skirmish, I am glad you came because I was potentially gonna maybe flip out for CV and whatnot. I was not calling in a carrier anymore. That was so hard. I mean, I don't think I did that bad, but it's just not ideal. Not easy stuff there.
I've learned from the best skirmish captain ever. So the most
best skirmish captain.
Skirmish captain. There is a player who is way better.
No. I mean,
I hope he's safe.
Skirmish captain is me, yourself. No, that's.
Oh no, I'm the second best.
Oh.
There is
No.
one
You're
player
calling
that's
yourself the
way,
best.
way better. Yarikar of Lords.
I was in his skirmish team, I think, one time on voice. He didn't say much, but he knew what to say when he needed to say it.
Yeah. That's, when I played in Lords, that was the one thing that struck me. The first team, 6 guys are muted. Only Yarikar is unmuted, and he says maybe 20 sentences during the course of a match. No more than that, probably less. And that was it. But he always predicted where ships would go and what the enemy would do. It was like he had some gift of foresight or something. That was always an entertaining thing to see and to learn from. All right.
I guess we could say he's got spidey senses.
Possibly.
All right. So, for JW, we see another IA member, B. Lee, Bismarck Lindemann. He was in JW 44 before moving up to IA to participate in skirmish events. And a very similar lineup to last week. Tamania, Pick, Martin. Pick was in the battleship last week.
How do you see this one going through? Matt, how do you see this one working out?
What's that?
How do you see this match working out?
How do I see this match working out? Well, JW is a developing team, so a team like this is actually a good learning experience for them, regardless of result. And for this match, I'm not sure how they're going to play, but from the initial movements, it looks like they're going to do similar to what we saw UKRF do, 3 to 1 cap and 1 to the other. And in this case, the one going to the other cap is B. Lee. And Technolust, of course, they're doing the same setup they've been doing all evening, with the cruiser going wide on each cap and their 2 ships in the middle. I gotta say, Gleb in the Roma has been doing a good job tonight. He's been landing a lot of good shots.
Yeah. Gleb has always, Gleb is one of those people who plays all 4 classes well. I mean, he tends to screw up in CD sometimes, but the other 3 classes, he knows what he's doing.
You screw up in CV too.
I'm still the best CV player.
You're the best at everything. That's what you think. Okay, so the airstrike from Tamania has detected Cosbacks, and B. Lee is starting to take some punishment here. Takes punishment from the mines.
He's under pressure.
Yeah. And he's backing up.
Those torpedoes to push out Bismarck, and I think Corbin should push hard, and take out this Belfast as soon as possible.
If Corbin pushes, another thing he could do is he could push him out. Gleb could catch a nice cross shot on him. Now,
possibly, yeah.
But B. Lee, he's actually advancing. He's advancing towards him. I don't know about that. He
wanted the torp, and he's going to try torpedoes to the other side. I don't know if he can last that long. You don't even need sonar to read those torpedoes. You know those are coming.
Yeah, but here's the thing. His T is crossed right now. He can only shoot 6 guns, and Corbin can shoot all 12. Maybe even the Roma can hit him from here. He's got torpedoes coming at him. He's got no smoke. This is a very troublesome position. And he really can't get into it.
Purely a lack of experience from Bismarck. One little criticism that I have of Bismarck is that I know he loves to work on his win rate, so he partners up with CD players late night and early morning and plays those matches, and those matches will easily build up bad habits. That's
Now you can
not
see.
what you
Oh,
want
look
at
at
this.
this! Look at this airstrike on 6-0. A little bit
Oh,
of
yeah.
there, but Martin pushed out, which
Right.
wasn't a bad move, but he's taken a lot of punishment, of course. Not much else he could do. He took damage. He's gone down. I'm not really sure why Tamania has been sitting there the whole time. I don't know if he's fired his guns much this match. Pick has made an advance to try to pressure Gleb or Cospax. But right now, Technolust, they've got a good grip, and it's not going to be easy to take apart. You got Corbin up high at A, so if Martin pokes out, he could find him. You got 6-0 in the
This
Orc.
Russian team doesn't need to push anymore. They have the ship advantage, they have the CAF advantage, and the points advantage. They can just afford to sit back and do nothing.
Oh,
The
well, they're going
Germans
to
have to chase them.
They're not going to do nothing. Corbin just took out Martin, who took shots from Gleb and Cospax probably from across B. He just cleaned that up. And now, here at C, Tamania now just...
We can give this match to Techno.
Yeah, there's no way for JW to win this match. Tamania had been in this position for most of the match. Now he's just taking punishment, starting to react, and now I think he's starting to put his guns to work. I don't know how much he was shooting his guns, but he did have one good airstrike on the Orchid, in the middle of the cap in his smoke. That was a good guess. And now look at Pick. Pick is turning Tamania into a hood ornament. Pushing him out of the way. Get out of here. I want to get in here. Ruler of the skies and a battleship. And he's firing on the Orkin is what he's doing. And Tamania, oh, not a good place for Tamania.
Or target selection.
Yeah, the Orkin's just going to back up. Tamania, he's launching an airstrike on Gleb, but he's going to have Gleb's shot, he's going to have Cospax's shot, and Corbin only has to go a little bit further to get some shots on him, too. And Pick's launching shots that aren't hitting long range on that Orkin, which is just backing up, giving a narrow profile, saying, here, shoot me. He's even healed now. Takes some HE. He's got a fire. Those are some better hits on him, but Technolust has caught up with what's left of their effort now. Tamania's, well, he's very soon going to be boxed in like a turtle's pecker. He's got the Roma coming from the one side, Corbin turning to take the other side. He's got Cospax moving with the Roma, and Pick has just left him to dry. That airstrike might get the Orkin, though.
It very possibly will.
Oh, it just comes short.
That was
Tamania
close.
goes out.
That was really close.
And Pick. Oh, and Tamania takes out 6-0. In his dying gasp, he takes out and gets a point for JW44. Yeah,
Not really a point.
Yeah, point. 1 point on ship sync for this team against Technolust. And he's going to run
that's
right
more like
for
a goal difference rather than a point, actually.
And he takes Corbin's Torps, and there you go. Yeah, Pitt kind of left Mania to dry there. He was chasing that DD.
There wasn't much they could do it at this point. They just wanted a kill, and they got it.
And they got it. There was some key mistakes by JW in this match, but that's a team that's starting out and they're learning, and every loss that you take when you're making a team is a place to learn things, and I think they will take something from that game.
Okay, so next up we have the Mario Brothers up against JW44. How do you see that one?
How do I see that one? Well, all I'm going to say is that they better protect the princess. But unfortunately, it's not going to be Princess Stormbird, our favorite. We're going to have to come up with another one.
Let's see what we can rustle out this one.
Peace Squad's going to be round 8, so we're going to see Mario Bros.
There's
again.
one very clear choice here. Those Folia shall now be princess for the rest of the evening.
Sure, with the girl portrait. We're gonna do. There's a guy on NA World Chat named Yetta Jill who asks every person with a girl portrait if they're a girl or not. Mate's literally getting gnomed every chance he gets. Now you were saying about an Amalfi. There's one right there, a black Amalfi.
Yeah, that's a good ship. For this map, that's a really good ship. Provided you know what you're doing with.
Well, Dimitri is a good player. An annoying carrier captain to play against. Oh, I'm not ready. Whoops. Don't Sink was distracting me. I'll blame him for that one. Why? He needs something blamed on him this evening. It was the video last week. Okay, so Mario Brothers with the Princess taking Mines, Roma, Chappie, and Black Amalfi. Interesting setup. And JW44 taking the same thing as last match. Mines, Belfast, DZP, Roma.
Alright, let's see how this one plays out.
JW is doing, it appears, the exact same thing. At least with the two cruisers at one cap. A. Yep, they're doing the exact same thing. Pick is making the right-hand turn. And B. Lee is once again going alone to the cap. And just like last time, he's going to have some company, but not one ship this time. It's going to be potentially two ships. But maybe not. No. Watch. Yes, the Chappie looks like it's starting to set up between B and C. And the Roma is going for B. Now, who'd you say was the Princess? The Chappie up here? Or Chappie down here?
Oh, Grifo, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Doge Folio?
Yep.
Okay. So the Princess taking a position between B and C. And Dimitri in the Black Amalfi is also going to be potentially taking the heat early. Now, B. Lee doing a much smarter strategy this time. He's using this island so he doesn't get spotted immediately. But he's making
his presence is known because Tiger is in the cap and is not able to take the cap. So he knows that Bismarck is here somewhere. It's only a matter of finding him. And now he knows exactly where Bismarck is.
Look at Dimitri. Dimitri now making a run for it. He's taking all the heat from A. And look at those airstrikes coming in. I don't think they're going to hit him, though.
This is where the Black Amalfi can utilize its speed and its rather freakish concealment. If you run a concealment bond of this, you have the potential to surprise a lot.
The Princess is taking crossfire from B. Lee, and you see B. Lee fired his torpedoes. And he's taking shots, and she's taking shots from A as well, from Pick. But look at Tiger. Tiger knows that B. Lee has no torpedoes on one side. He can start getting a bit more aggressive here. Dimitri, for the amount of fire he's on.
Yeah. He's doing the perfect job here.
For the amount of fire he's taken, he has not lost a lot of health. Tiger launching torpedoes on B. Lee. And the Princess taking long-range shots on Pick. But this could be potentially a dicey position for the Princess, being alone at B, though she does have support from the Roma. Pick is going all in, and what I would like to see right now is Dimitri turn and start shooting on that Roma too. That Roma has isolated itself in between three ships.
His Pick is in a bad spot. He's facing P3, who is very narrow and is hard to hit. He's moving away, and he's facing
right
a Black Amalfi.
The Princess does not see these torps heading for from B. Lee. That's a good shot by B. Lee. And a shot by Tamanio.
Hang on, go back to Dimitri. Look at how he has played this. He's taken down a mine.
Oh, look at that. Looks like he landed some torpedoes and a really good AP salvo.
Princess goes down.
The Princess is out. So, unfortunately, the Mario Brothers, they have not protected Peach.
And Tiger will take out the Belfast.
Take out B. Lee in the Belfast. So, Mario Brothers currently has the advantage, but
But look
Petrie
at
is on much
Tumania's
lower
health.
health than Pick. Look at
And
Dimitri.
Dimitri cannot really help because he's too far away and he has too little health. So it's up to Tiger to do whatever he can. He's firing HE. Um, I don't know if that's such a wise choice, especially if you don't have
I'm
um,
not sure.
an
I'm not
HE
sure
support.
why Pick has turned away like that versus the Roma. I think he finished him off with his back turret. Imagine if he had more health, he wouldn't have been able to do that.
Now, Tiger should switch over to AP and go after Tumania. Finish him
Look at
off.
Tumania. Tumania going in with his airstrikes. That airstrike wasn't the best, but look at this. He's lining it up to hit him with the next one. And he gets a fire with that one, and that one stops him. But unfortunately, Tumania really doesn't have much offensive potential. He only has about 30%, even though he's healing. And Pick, and just like last game, Pick is chasing after an Amalfi, which Dimitri's just going to leave him in the dust. He's going to stop shooting and vanish. Tumania going for another airstrike. I think what JW is trying to do is they're trying to consolidate their firepower. Pick and Tumania are turning around to take out Dimitri. Who actually, yeah. Just like last, Pick was out a bit too far to help with Tumania last game either. Even if there wasn't much he could do, they could have, stuck together and maybe shot some concentrated shots at something. But look at Pick. Pick with a shot on the back. But look, here comes Tiger. Tiger's doing shots on. Yeah, Pick, even in the position he's in, Pick landed that shot. And Tiger's going in on Tumania, but I don't know, in 30 seconds, can he take out a DZP? He's going to have to land those shots. He's far away from him now. No. JW. This was a really close match. It was looking like Mario Bros was going to take this one, but on the cap advantage, JW44 will take this one. Well played by the Wolfpack. And you were saying about Pick's position, Pick landed the shot he needed to hit there, and he gets the MVP this match. That was a good advance on Petrie. And B. Lee was also caught in a bad situation. Yeah, he did, and he made it work well. And Bismarck Lindemann, even though he was in a situation like last game where he was just getting pummeled by a mines, he landed torps in the Chappie. He led Tiger around that island. He kept himself alive much longer, and he also did 50k. He contributed quite a bit to the team this time, compared to last game where he basically was. Oh, a Roma and a Amalfi. Are we going to rerun the match, maybe? Even if they did forfeit, JW44 did win this match. That was a good job by Tumania. He didn't have much health to work with, but he made it work. And he turned around when he needed to and went for the Amalfi with Pick. And even though Pick was way out there after turning away from that Roma, Pick landed that shot. And he had probably maybe 3 chances to hit that shot, and he got it the first time. he had missed it, the Amalfi could have maybe taken out Dominion with torpedoes, which you saw him earlier do a really good job against that mines. So for round 8, we're going to have P Squad. So I read round 7 as round 8 initially. So now we have round 8, P Squad versus Mario Bros. It'll get handled efficiently, hopefully. Round 8. So P Squad, they had a bit of a rough cross last week. They had good ideas, but their pushes fell apart pretty quick, though. But they were a great team for the June edition of SOS. Rometha is a good tactical player. He knows where to put his ships. So I think we will see another good effort from P Squad today. And for Mario Bros, hopefully they will correct their what do I think about 6.3? I am very happy about 6.3 because it has given buffs to a line I loved to play 4 years ago, and I still play it, and I'm in the mood to play it more. My Japanese gunboats. I remember when Akizuki had air defense alert, and I have a couple clear sky medals from that ship. They didn't give it to the tier 8, but I had a lot of fun with the tier 9, and that tier 9 has it again. I remember in Respawn at tier 9, I had a lot of fun with that ship back in the day. And Harugumo. Harugumo has gotten actually quite a bit of buffs, and it never really got any. I remember when Flying Fish 1 back in like 2020 made a video where he said, come on, this thing needs a buff. And it was one of his most played ships. And now Flying Fish has been gone from the game for 2 years. I might tell him he might come back to play the buff Harugumo. The collections. I'm in contact with him still. He's currently going to college to work on being an aviation mechanic, and he's been making good progress with that. So outside of Blitz, he's doing good things. He was telling me about how he was refueling a twin-engine civilian craft, and also how he was working on rotary motors. So he's been definitely putting his best foot forward in real life, and even though I miss him as a Blitz player, I did get him to play a Blitz title. I played some games on Tanks Blitz with him in January of this year, and he hadn't played that game in probably 4 or 5 years. I bet you if I try a little harder, maybe sometime this summer I could bring him back for some matches. I remember teaming with his press account back in February of 21 when the Russian battleships were new, and oftentimes you won't see a press account in a team with normal players. You usually see them teamed up together. Like, for example, Sly and Hiromi and Rogue ran some games together a few years ago. I'm very excited for the new round. DFA is a player that I don't know much about, but anything I've heard is good, and his content is very well made. I'm excited for the new round of community contributors. I think they will all be a good look for Wargaming, and it includes some friends of mine. Sajan and IA is one, and he's been putting a lot of work into his videos early on. But really, another one, you're going to be a CC. And you know how, since I met you, I've heard you talk about, man, I want to be a CC one day. And I've seen you put so much alcohol, not blood, sweat, and tears, alcohol into succeeding on this game when you put 617 on top of the skirmish leaderboard or top 3. Oh, yeah, you've put so much energy into this game and also into making content in the past few years. And that's one thing I've heard you never stop talking about, and it never bothered me. You're like, I want to be a CC. And I always thought in the back of my mind, he'll get there one day. And sure enough, Don't Sink B will be a CC very soon. I look forward to what he does. I look forward to seeing what you do with that press account, mate. And I hope to put a rain on your parade at least once while you're testing something. One of my favorite things to do in this game is sink a brand new ship that's been added to the game. I'll never forget my first encounter with a Venezia. It was Haven, and I was in my Shima capping B. I play Shimakaze not like those dummies that don't shoot their guns. I have games where I shoot my guns more than I use my torps in that thing. But I'll never forget, I was Captain B on Haven. And all of a sudden, half my health disappears. I'm like, what the hell? I wasn't even spotted. I look up the roster, I'm like, oh, it's a Venezia. I saw those pink shells were there before I even realized it. I'm like, holy moly. And I ended up hunting him down and taking him out later that match. But that made me jump, that hit from that Venezia. There's always a first time, and that was my one with Venezia. That's one I always talk about whenever someone says, what was your first encounter with a ship that got nerfed, like Venezia. When it first came out, it was, I would say if it wasn't nerfed, it would still be, counterable. Kind of like Smolensk. If a Smolensk gets spotted, it's gone. Against any good players, no one wants to leave that thing on there. I remember when Flying Fish was testing Friesland, he brought me in training room with a carrot, and he's like, try to kill me. And I knew it was going to suck, but it sucked harder than I thought it would. He told me, use Kaga. Just as a joke, he said use Kaga because, in a very unlucky circumstance, a Kaga could see a Friesland. It was bad. I don't think I landed more than 4 torps. I was trying as hard as I could. And I'll never forget one of the clips, he was gunning me down in Hakuryu. I was trying to shoot my guns at him to finish him, and I got him down to probably 1,300 health. And another thing, he was playing it solo, and he ended up running against Barnacle Scraper, who's an old school carrier player on the NA server. And he went up against his Friesland and Essex. Dude did not know why his planes were falling out of the sky. He went on World Chat and was complaining about it. He was pissed. His planes were just gone. He had no idea what was happening. Oh. So currently the pause for round 8, I'm talking with Wolf. He's saying they're waiting for an invite. They're actually Team A on the setup. They were the ones inviting Mario Bros. So hopefully that'll get cleared up soon. Wolf is telling me that they actually were not scheduled to play against Mario Bros, but that's actually on the thing. We're waiting for your invite. Yeah, okay. Wolf thought that they were fighting somebody else, and he thought they weren't Team A, so this will get cleared up very soon now. P Squad will invite Mario Bros, and we will get playing. Here we go. Man, that happened fast. Okay, so this is, I believe, the same lineup as last week. Kakengpe, Wolf, Lustig, and Rametha. So, what is Mario Bros doing? They're going for 2 DDs, a Lightning and a Kagero. I don't know if they're going to run that. They are going to run that. They had to flip out Wolf, who was in Edinburgh. Peter Lustig and a Bayard, which is a good ship for DPM. And Wolf going for an Ochakov. What do you think of that choice? Okay, so we have 2 DDs versus our first Bayard and Ochakov of tonight. P Squad and the Mario Bros with the Princess. Y'all know how to make it exciting. And the Princess is going to be the one with the big camera this time in Roma. Well, I can tell you which team's going to get the caps first. It's definitely going to be Mario Bros with these 2 DDs. Now, P Squad, they're going all to B, it looks like. Maybe one ship goes, Wolf might go to C, but it looks like they're going heavy on B. With KK and Rametha going to B. And Dimitri is going to B as well, it looks like. Or maybe they're having him sweep between B and C. Now he's going to B. Everybody's they're waiting for the first Flint. Past 43 of the P Squad, they are the first ones to take the cap. And the Lightning leaves C cap open. Ochakov will take that cap easily. And look at this whole top squadron. They're just now getting to cap A. Torps from the Lightning are going out. He's staggering them up a little bit. Let's see if they find anything. And Kakengpe taking some early pressure here. I think Wolf should come around the back and try to look for some shots high up between B and C. Because the way they're set up right now, this is a good opening for him. Rametha is looking for a shot. Dimitri now taking the first shot from... Yeah. Dimitri taking some early pressure. Shots are going in on him. They're trying to get him out of B so they can take it back. They're going to use the other cruiser to do this. You can see Rametha putting a big shot on Tiger right as he was starting to tuck in behind that island. Look at these torpedoes from the Kagero. Getting really close to Kakengpe. He might catch Rametha with that last one. It's going to be close. And it's going to run out right short. The Bayard's a very maneuverable ship that's very quick. He will outrun most of these shots, but it makes it so he can't turn away. He's going to take that one torp. Yeah. And he also took a hit from perhaps the Roma, the Princess, Doge Folia. And look at Petrie. Petrie going for a stealth torp position, more than likely on Rometha, who is focusing on Doge Folia. And the Princess on a triple fire. And Rometha actually ended up backing into those a little bit. And that's a big hit for that Kagero. That's one thing Kagero is good at, is a big strike out of nowhere. But the Princess is in a lot of trouble here. I mean, she's taking every shot they can put. Sasha's got a massive Alpha Strike on his torps. And the Princess goes down. But a big hit on Peter Lustig, who's kind of stuck in a weird position now because of those torps. It split him and Wolf up. And you can see Kikengpe did not advance to cover his teammates, so now Lustig has got no cover. These three cruisers are almost like a trident spear. And look at these torps! Look at the torps from the Kagero heading towards Rometha. That's going to be a big hit there. Big hit by the Kagero. And he's going for shots on him. There's a fire. And that's going to be a perma-fire. That Kagero just brought Rometha right into his hands. He put it out, so that wasn't perma. But he's easily, potentially very easy to gun down for this Kagero, with some luck. Lustig got a bit of health back. The Lightning puts out some torps to push Kikengpe down, but Kikengpe is now pushing to try to punish this Kagero. He's in trouble now. Yeah. He was very close to taking out the Roma, but against the Belfast on his 6, there was nothing left for him to do. And Wolf up in the high corner, you can see he's taking a lot of damage. Wolf is a good flank player, but just like last week, he's on the flank with not a lot of health to work with here. But on one hand, he's got the ship's advantage on his team. So as long as he keeps his ship safe, he should be able to keep his point alive for his team. So Mario Bros can't take it. Tiger is now taking some pressure from Kikengpe. Mines goes down, and I don't think that Lightning's going to get to Peter now. Peter's just going to run away. And Wolf, he played the flank well. Even though he didn't have much health to work with, his team took out the rest of the ships, and he kept his ship afloat. And I can tell you from one game where I had to fight his Minotaur, that guy is hard to take out. I was like, I got the Minnow like 3 times, and he healed, and Dauntless is like, come on, man, take him out! I'm like, you know what's going on down here, because he was at the other cap. He couldn't see. You know, I would say I got him. He had like no health, but he'd pop a kit and I'd be right back at square one. That was my introduction to how annoying Wolf was for me to deal with. Those torps from the Lightning look good. He's slowing and turning. He might be able to get a dodge in here. It's going to be close. Lightning's trying to go on him. Nice dodge. Good dodge from Nochikov. Is Dmitry going to be able to hold it afloat for 10 seconds? No, it's a whole different ship. Dmitry keeps his ship afloat. Dmitry played well this game, but his team just wasn't able to capitalize. Good play by P-Squad here. Definitely redemption for what they had happen last week. But it was very nice to see a team take 2 destroyers. Something different to watch is always enjoyable. And in the case of Mario Bros, the Kagero did a very good job, but unfortunately he got closed in on before he was able to finish his job. But Rametha definitely felt those torp hits. I've been there. That ain't no fun eating torps like that. And we've got one game left. Time flies when you're having fun. Round 9. We're going to see Random Mad Bastards versus P-Squad. So we're going to see P-Squad again and Ron Bison's team, which we saw last week take out Princess Stormbird. Which Stormbird says was a photoshopped image. It wasn't. All right. And we're all ready to go. So, interesting choices here. Laterable, Constellation, Irian, and Tiger. That's 4 completely different ships. Your bro Dimebag going for the Constellation. That's a ship you don't see often. He must have taken some of your alcohol money to buy that one. So don't sink with love. Very appropriate, Mute. All right, we ready for the last game? I'm not responsible for what Sloppy's doing. Come on, Banna, run Laterable. That's a quick ship with nasty guns. Oh, he's going for a Cleveland. Okay. Cleveland's still a different choice. Oh, come on, Dimebag. Come on, guys. Oh, come on. This could have been such a great meme. Don't do it. Man, my disappointment is immeasurable. Oh, wait, the Charles Martel. Okay, that's a good choice right there. You were talking about that. Yeah. Yes. If that Charles Martel is the one at A, which it isn't, it's Banna. If he was at A, man, you could have done a drag race up there with that thing. Charles Martel is a quick ship with good guns. It's actually an underrated ship, I would say. A lot of players that don't know how to use it play it. But Mute would definitely be a player who knows how to play this ship. Now look at Ron. Ron's going beeline to B. And meeting him is Kakengpe in his Belfast. They're sending Wolf off to the cap, which is a good place for him. As I was saying, he's a good flank player. But against a Cleveland, he's got a tall order if that Cleveland finds him with all guns. Now Ron launches some torps. He's going to turn and hide behind that island. Yeah, because the Cleveland can rip up Ochakov's soft armor. But look at Banna. He's going really passive for no reason here. Yeah, but he's given a cap early. Look, a big hit by Wolf on Ron. Ron's in a lot of trouble here. Oh, Ron's in serious trouble now. Kakengpe knew where he was before he smoked. Those torps were up. He's going to have to keep running. He's healing, but he took a big hit. Another hit. That's a miss. Very close to his ship. And Ron is just... He's zigzagging back and forth. Oh, there's a fire. Oh, another. Look at those hits. Man, Ron is getting the hammer dropped on him. He's in a crossfire. Man, those misses. Is he going to make it? Oh, those shots are so close. Man, Ron, he's... Oh, look at Wolf. I didn't even see that. Dimebag takes him out. That's Don't Sink's brother Dimebag in action there. About to say, Ron Bison, if you're a Molly Hatchet fan, he's flirting with disaster here. And Mute taking some shots off his nose. And Bannaberger, belated, but with Wolf out of the way, he's got a clear path right into A. They're going on Dimebag right now, but Dimebag's put big hits on the Bayard. Dimebag's like you, though. Nice hit on Lushig. Yeah, yeah. That's your bro Dime. What I was saying is, yeah, because Dime's just going away. Ron's still looking for more. He's going right into that cap. Some cross shots starting off Kakangpe. But I was about to say about Dime is he's similar to you. That guy doesn't back down easily. He doesn't like to back down. That's not how he plays. Kakangpe getting in the cap. He's looking to take out Ron, but here comes Bana down from A into Cleveland. This is the perfect time for a Cleveland. He's got all that DPM. He can just fling shells in that direction. Yeah. He's just going to fire shells in all directions. He'll find something in there. And Kakangpe is coming out of his smoke. So that's the end of it right there. He went for a torp run. I don't know. Yeah. A good push by Bana. Ron takes the cap. Keeps it safe. After almost... yeah. Ramatha will probably fire on Dimebag, I would say, if all his guns are aimed at him. Because that's really the only shot he's got, other than maybe one on Ron. But Ron's not on an easy profile to get hit. Ramatha just took a hit from Dimebag there. With mute. Yeah, and Ron was like basically out, and he made that strike on Wolf. That was great play. Good torps by him on Ramatha there. Kind of like last week during the match against Torp. And Dime will finish it before he can get there. Yeah, you and him need to get a room sometimes, but you guys are both entertaining players. Good play by Dime there. Bana as well. Good cross down from A. He was really passive at the start, but he made it aggressive when he needed it. And Ron, even though he only got 12K, that 12K was important. And that cap control was priceless. Well played by random mad bastards. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This was fun, just like last week, and everybody will be able to see all the craziness we had together here. It's been a lot of fun commentating this tournament. Well played all teams this evening.